We are live. We are rocking. We are rolling. We're about to do a Best Ball Mania draft. I see some people up in the chat early today. Whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay, hopefully you're having a lovely time. As it stands right now, we need 5 more people to fill this draft. I put the link in the Patreon Discord. So if you have any questions at all during the video, be sure to drop them down below. I don't know which spot I'm picking at yet until those final 5 spots fill. So if you're watching right now live, right, if you're doing that, go ahead over into the description, go to Underdog. If you're not signed up, you get a free $25 credit. So you can use that, use the code SAL, and then get in one of these drafts. So we'll give it a few minutes. I'll answer the questions that are already coming because there's some really good ones in the draft right now, in the chat right now. But yes, this is what we're doing. We've been doing these every Friday. We're probably going to be picking them up. So this is a best ball draft. I've had questions, and we have a question right now from Michael in the chat. How you doing, boss man? Not sure how early you got in here, but saw the first one, so appreciate it. He says, best draft spot this year in a 10-man PPR. Yeah, in a 10-man PPR, assuming that it's not, best ball, it'll change a little bit in terms of like if you're trying to stack early. But best draft spot, as of right now on July 2nd, I'm still trying to figure it out. That's what this is for. This is probably my 20th, somewhere around there, like mock draft / actual draft because it's best ball. So, where the bleep do I sign up, says Brian C. Sal going live on a Friday morning, where the bleep do I sign? So you're trying to sign up for this, like to get into this? We have 4 more spots left right now in this draft. It's linked down below. You can get in on Underdog, and you just join the Best Ball Mania. If you want to use the code SAL, that benefits me, and it also gets you a $25 credit. But for the best draft spot, I'm still trying to figure it out. I haven't gotten too many drafts just by, I guess, small sample, being unlucky. I haven't gotten too many drafts to be drafting around the, let's call it, like the 6, 7, 8 pick. I've been either like 1 through 4 or 10, 11, or 12 right now. So I don't really have a full understanding of what that middle of the draft looks like. I much prefer, maybe not much prefer, but I do enjoy drafting early. Like, give me the first pick. Like, if you win a lottery in your home league and they said, which pick do you want to draft at? Give me the first pick. Seems obvious, but I'll go ahead and take McCaffrey. And when it comes back around, there's just loads of talented running backs still on the board there, honestly. Antonio Gibson's, sometimes Najee Harris's, Travis Etienne's. You have loaded wide receivers. There might be a CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, those types of guys. Definitely a Darren Waller. So lots of guys there that you can get some top tier talented players at that 2-3 turn right after that. But as we look at this right now, you can see we're still waiting on 5 people, as it says right here. We're in the queue. Sal, you should collab with Nick Ercolano, says JM Football Productions. Yeah, me and Nick, we've chatted. We've actually done content together, one piece of content together. We did a margarita. It was National Margarita Day, and that's a part of his brand for sure, the Margs. So he's got it tattooed on his body, I believe. So we did just a 1 hour, just kind of like shoot the shit while drinking margaritas on a live stream one day. That was about a month and a half ago or so. But yeah, Nick's awesome. Yep. I'll be in, every time I'm in New York, he's like, yo, head on over. But I'm like, in terms of miles away, a couple miles away in the city, and not really in that area where he's at. So best spot to draft right now, Michael, for me, it's number 1 pick, but we'll see as we go on. Unfortunately, in my home league, I'm not going to be able to get the number 1 pick. All right, let's fill this thing. Come on, if you're watching right now, get up in the chat. Just pop on autopilot. Just pop on autopilot. Why would I do that? Your picks will automatically be made from the queue or from the top of the rankings as soon as you're on the clock. I don't want to do that. That ain't no fun. All right. How does your draft strategy differ from best ball compared to a typical 10-man league, if at all? It definitely differs. It definitely differs. So people have been asking me like when I'm going to be drafting. So I don't even draft in 10-man leagues, to be honest with you. I don't enjoy them. 12-man is where I think makes a lot more sense. 10-man, every team's an all-star team, and it just comes down to injuries. 12-man, especially with deeper drafts, 18 to 22 rounds is what you should be pushing for in your home leagues. Get 3 flex spots in there. If you still only have 1 flex spot, get to 2. Just get your league to slowly get there. Get out of kickers and defenses, that type of stuff. At least kickers. But what I would say is, all right, 3 more spots. Get up in there down below. What I would say is the big difference is stacking. It's the correlation you're looking for. In your home league, you don't need to stack as much. It's not out of the question to stack, but in your home league, in a 10-man league, you're just looking to beat 10 people. In a best ball draft, more times than not, it's a tournament, right? So if it's a tournament and you are playing to beat, thousands of people, tens, hundreds of thousands of people, you want to correlate to reduce how much you have to get right. When you reduce how much you have to get right, it makes it easier to jump other people. You're not trying to build the perfect lineup in a tournament. In a best ball tournament, you're not trying to have the highest scoring potential roster. That would be great. You're just trying to beat other people. That's where people get confused. Oh, I have to have the highest scoring. No. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to beat everybody else. And beating everybody else does not mean perfect. The best overall winning lineup last year was not the highest optimal lineup, right? It rarely is. It's hard to get that right. So that's where correlation comes into play. Can you stack up some players together? Can you get a quarterback and a wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, tight end? So if the quarterback's going off and the offense is going off, it likely means that those pass catchers, if they stay healthy, big if, then that's probably going to give you nice spots at wide receiver and tight end. You just have to get less right. All you have to get right there is the offense. So you just have to get the offense being right. So like the Cowboys, for example, last year were a great option until the Dak injury. This year they look good again. You get Dak Prescott. You're able to then get a later round Michael Gallup. There's a nice stack. Maybe you get a later round Blake Jarwin, or you go with Amari or CD Lamb early, Prescott in like the 5th or 6th, and then you get Gallup, and you have a really high upside team there. If Dak Prescott stays healthy and that offense is good, it's likely that those two guys are generating it for you. So there you go. Those are big facts. Those are facts, big man, says Seth. Seth, how you doing, boss man? All right, we need 3 more people. Let's get this draft underway. Been live for about 5 minutes. I'll put a tweet out about it, actually. Let's see. I know we're going relatively early at 10 on a Friday, but figure, people ain't doing the work on a Friday. At work again, but I'll listen to the draft through my headphones, says Zay Garcia. Zay, hopefully having a lovely day at work. Yeah, so July 1st, yesterday, is actually when the 2021 Supreme Draft Guide launched. Some people have been asking about it. I sent the pre-orders out to all the people who signed up for a pre-order through Prize Picks. They got it for free. You can check it out down below. It's rankings. Those rankings will be updated. So like, even if I share the rankings right now, it's not that big of a deal because these are going to change probably on a day-to-day basis in August once the preseason starts, just from what we see in the field, when injuries start to occur, how that all affects stuff, when we see who's actually starting at running back. But you can see right here, and we'll put it on the screen while we wait. These are what I'm going to be drafting off of today, the PPR tiers. This is half PPR underdog, but I'll just go with PPR tiers for that. This is for the stream, but there's a top 200, right, with little descriptions. But I'll be drafting off the PPR tiers, which you can find on the Supreme Draft Guide down below. If you want to get it for free, thanks to Prize Picks, free, F-R-E, you can. Is today opt-out deadline for Rogers? Is today the opt-out deadline for Rogers on, what's the date? July 2nd? Honestly, couldn't tell you. I guess I stay with still need 3 more. I stay with the previous thought that you're not going to really see Rogers leave this team. You're not going to see him retire, and they're not going to trade him. So I think he's going to play this year. There's not much of a precedent set for. I mean he's an outlier in his own right in terms of skill set and just an interesting personality. I would say he's very comfortable with himself, which is, I think a lot of people might knock a guy like Aaron Rodgers because he's so into like spirituality, or not from like a religion standpoint, but from a like stoic standpoint and mindfulness and all that. I think some people can look at that and say that that's odd, that's weird, but I think that's like the ultimate. Like, he is so filthy rich. It is very easy for somebody to be infatuated when you're playing a sport. It's easier because you get knocked down, you lose, you lose in the NFC Championship yet again, right, and all that type of stuff. So it keeps you somewhat grounded. But yeah, I mean, it seems like he's all there, like in terms of his head and like his mental state and where he's happy, like happy wise. So at this point, and I think that's what it is, like it's clearly not money, it's the relationship that he's in. And when you're in this state of where it's like, okay, I want to go to work every day and be like, go right up to the GM's office and just like high five him and joke around. But when I go to work every day, the office door is closed, there's a weird energy in it. Like, if that's what he's feeling and that's what it seems like, why would you want to keep going to work, right? Why would you show up over your summer when you're 39 years old coming off an MVP as maybe some of the best shape of your life? Why would you show up if every day is going to be somewhat dreadful? So I think he's going to be back just because there's no precedent for a guy like Aaron Rodgers retiring right now. Like, let's just think about this. I've said it in the past. We need 2 more people, by the way. If you want to get in for this live draft, we've been waiting a couple minutes. I started this up early just to kind of have a conversation with the people in the chat. But we need 2 more people. You can get in down below. I'm going to put the link in the Discord. 2 more needed. But there's no precedent set for Aaron Rodgers. And the only thing that I ever get maybe pushback, or I've heard some people say, is that, but Carson Palmer retired for a year to get away from the Bengals. That's Carson Palmer when he was 1 younger, not coming off of an MVP, playing for the Bengals, which is a brutal organization and still is to this day in terms of committing to players, not a favorable in terms of weapons there, not a winning organization. You'd be stepping away and retiring after an MVP season at age 39, so not much of a window left if you actually want to continue to play after this year, with a top weapon, if not the top weapon, Davante Adams in the league, a quality offense, a quality defense. Oh yeah, and you just went to back-to-back NFC championships. So Major difference. And even if the situations were exactly the same between Carson Palmer and Aaron Rodgers, right? Even if they were exactly the same, it's one time. So you're pointing to me to the only one time it ever happened, right? Alrighty. So I'd joined, but I'm heading into the gym, says Daniel. Just put another $100 on. I'm pretty addicted at this point, says Daniel. Yeah, get up in there, man. We got a couple spots left, so get up in there. Do it for the stream so we can start this bad boy off. Otherwise, I'm going to have to just do a 30-minute fucking Q&A on Friday morning. But that's also fun. We can I join if I'm not in the Discord? Yeah, Ryan, you can. Yep. Anybody watching right now can join this draft. We're waiting. We need 3 more people. It's early on a Friday, so it's a bad time to be probably streaming it. But this works for my schedule with the 4th of July weekend coming up. But yes, I'll put it in the link in the chat right now. You'll basically just join into the Best Ball Mania. If you use this link, if it is your first time playing, if you use that link, you'll get a $25 credit when you deposit. But so yeah, Ryan asks, how do I join? Right there, linked below. You click that link, takes you over to Underdog. You sign in, the $25 for the Best Ball Mania. You'll get a credit for $25. You could use it on that if you want to. If this is your first time, you just use the code SAL. It's today, morning, Sal. Another year prepping with the best. Let's win us a championship. Yeah, so it's July now, right? So it's officially football season. We're here. We're ready. We're rocking. We're rolling. Yesterday, I actually put together the football calendar in terms of the types of videos that I want. I've got about 5 videos scheduled for the next couple of weeks. The nice thing this year compared to last year is we have preseason. So August 5th, there's a preseason game, and then there's a week off. That's the Hall of Fame game. And then from August 12th to August 29th, so like those 17, 18 game days in there, right? So what is that? August 12th to 20th. It's like 18 days. In those 18 days, I believe we have, let's do the quick math in my head, 13 days of football. So from mid-August to the end of August, we have 13 days out of 18 days of football. It's amazing. It's 4 to 5 days of football a week, Thursday to Sunday or Thursday to Monday. It is fantastic. I'm in the next one for sure because I know if I join now, it won't be much of a workout, somebody says. I feel that. I mean, unless you're doing insane cardio, you can do your draft in between your little lifts. But I get it. You want to be fully focused on what's going on. Suns winning it all, says Finesse God. Yeah, I guess it depends on how bad Giannis's injury is. But, yeah. Is it featured Best Ball Mania for 25? Yes, it is. That is it. Once you click that and join into that, you will be entered in, and you will see that we need 1 to 2 more left depending on how many people join up in here. Yo, Sal, draft starts in 2 hours. Got pick 103. Oh, you got a draft starting in 2 hours for your home league? Is that correct? Your home league draft starts in 2 hours? All right, we need 2 people. I know there's definitely more than 2 people watching right now that aren't in the gym and aren't here. So waiting on 2 people so we can start this bad boy off. Doing a little Q&A before, not a bad idea. Waiting on 2 people. Fill that shit. Make that shit go to 0. So he says, got the 103. I'm stuck on who to pick. Full PPR. All right, so at the 103, it's going. You have a kind of an easy decision here. 1 person left. There we go. Fill this shit. There we go. So at the 103, it's Christian McCaffrey if he falls to you, no doubt about it. Unlikely. And then whoever falls to you out of Zeke and Dalvin Cook. There's a pretty good chance Dalvin Cook goes at the 2 spot. That's fine. We'll take Zeke at the 3. If Dalvin Cook goes at the 2, I would take Zeke at the 3. Saquon, of course, is in that discussion. Alvin Kamara for me is not in that discussion. And a full PPR, Derrick Henry for me would not be in that discussion. Somewhat, but not too much. Honestly, Cam Akers would be more in that discussion for me than Kamara and Derrick Henry. But at that high of a pick, you want to play it safe. Whoever falls to you out of Dalvin Cook or Zeke is where I personally would go with that pick, Mr. MG. Now, if this is your home league, you guys are drafting really, really early. Does it got to be legal in your state, says Eric Adkinson. Yes, it does have to be legal in your state. I guess I would question which state are you in. Sports betting doesn't have to be legal in your state for this to work. You can do this in New York now. You can do this in Pennsylvania now. So, yes, thanks for the 5 prize picks yesterday. I got rinsed by the showdown slate. Yeah, the 5 prize picks worked out. I actually put it down. I had a flex play, so I had 4 to 5, and I was like, okay, we'll make some money because Pat Connaughton got taken out with like 5 minutes left. I guess Pat Connaughton got put back into the game, though, and had 2 garbage time free throws and made them both to get us over his 12.5 that we got earlier in the day, so that was fantastic. Alrighty, appreciate everybody in here. We're starting this bad boy up. It is just filled. Let's get it. I'm excited. So let's see where my pick is. I'm picking at the number 3. Here we go. Look at this. So the guy who's in the chat, MG, if you're still in the chat, yeah, he says thanks. MG, I'm picking at the 3rd pick in this draft. So this is a best ball draft, so it'll be a little bit different than your draft because at points I will try to get specific wide receivers and tight ends just because I have their quarterback and vice versa. So it won't be exactly like in your home league might have kickers and defenses, and this is half-point PPR versus PPR, but for the most part, you'll get to kind of see the structure and who I like, especially early on before I start to stack. So let me pull up right now. I'm going to pull up my ranks that I'll be drafting off of for this, or my tiers is a better way to say that. So we have the tiers that are drafting. If you're interested in the Supreme Draft Guide, my ranks, all that type of stuff, now or in the future, let me know. It's linked down below. Which Packers wide receiver outside of Adams you think might be worth grabbing? In terms of worth grabbing, I would say Amari Rogers. He's their 3rd-round pick this year. The Packers rarely spend somewhat high draft capital on wide receivers. When they do, they become quality players. Like when it's not a 5th or 6th or 7th-round receiver like they've seen in the past, Malachi Dupree's, Juwan Johnson type players. When it's actually a quality draft capital pick like the 3rd round, you see guys, which is usually their 2nd-round picks, you see the guys like Davante Adams 2nd round, Jordy Nelson 2nd round, Randall Cobb 2nd round, James Jones I think 3rd round. So you see these types of guys start to have significant use in the offense, and it also makes sense. So there goes Dalvin Cook, and McCaffrey go early. I'm going to go to Ezekiel Elliott at the 3rd overall pick. Some people might say that I'm crazy. That's fine. I don't think I'm crazy, and I think a lot of people are going to start to realize how good of a play Zeke is this year in terms of Saquon Barkley's injury concerns and a bad offensive line, in terms of Derrick Henry when it comes to PPR and half PPR, not being as great as Ezekiel Elliott, the guy who led the league in routes run while Dak Prescott was healthy, led the league in targets at the running back position, receptions, all this type of stuff. So we go Zeke early on there. Yeah, and if you're just joining in, we're doing a best ball draft on an underdog. If you want to do these types of drafts, they're linked down below. $1,001 to first place. And for a limited time right now, they're doing, if you deposit any amount, $2, you'll get $25 on your first deposit right there for a credit, which could be used in a bunch of different contests, or the $1,001 contest happens to be $25 entry, so you can use it there too. There's your plug. That is Underdog Fantasy. It's all linked down below if you want to check it out. Drafting off my ranks. So Kamara goes at the 4 spot. Kamara is my running back 9 right now. I already have released a video on him and my concerns about Alvin Kamara, so I'm not there too much. But Amari Rogers will be the pick for me, Butt Thompson. Alan Lazard is going to have to battle with Amari Rogers, so that will be your concern there. MVS is always solid, but that's only if you're playing like an 18 to 20 plus round draft. If you're playing in a 14 to 16 round draft, if you're playing in an 18 round draft where you have to take a kicker and a defense, probably not taking MVS. But you know, especially in underdog, you know he's going to have those 1 to 2 to 3 weeks of just pure domination, right? Where he just has his 3 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown or something like that, or 115 yards on 3 or 4 receptions and a touchdown. There goes Cam Akers at the 7th overall pick. So we have 7 running backs in a row to start this draft off. You can see those running backs that are drafted right above my head right now. 7 running backs in a row go, and Cam Akers goes. So we actually like Cam Akers a good amount. I already have released a video specifically on him. All right, so I think I got to all the questions up here. Let's see other questions that are hopping in right to now. Thoughts on the Jags running backs this season? Love Travis Etienne. Cody Perkins, love Travis Etienne. I have videos coming out on Travis Etienne and James Robinson already scheduled for the next week or two. There goes Travis Kelce. Typically goes at this range in these best ball drafts. Travis Etienne, I love him. He's my running back, I believe. He's my running back 22 right now, but there's a chance that he starts to jump David Montgomery and Mike Davis and get towards like that running back 20 range. I like Travis Etienne a lot. Yes, I like him a lot. I mean, this is a guy who played with this guy in college, right? He became a monster. He led all running backs in target share last year in college, receptions, targets, receiving first downs, receiving touchdowns. Like, this was a monster in the receiving game, let alone his home run, Miles Sanders-esque home run hitting upside on the ground. That's Travis Etienne. This is a guy that you take in the first round, and I don't care if he's practicing with the wide receivers. That's good. He already knows how to run the ball. He ran the ball for 4 years in college. He ran the ball for 3 years in high school. He knows how to run the ball and see holes and all that type of stuff. So more so work on his passing game in the NFL, where pass protection is going to need to be a thing, where 3 to 4 to 5 times a game he will move into the slot. So yes, I would say that Travis Etienne as a rookie right now, I mean, a guy who got taken 1 pick after Najee Harris, I think he's going to have a lot big old Billy, bigger role than people expect. And I think probably come August, so like we're only a month away at this point, but come August, once you start to see him in the preseason and you're seeing the guys come off the board right now, a lot more running backs. Austin Eckler goes at the 112, but Antonio Gibson, second-year player at the 2-1. I think he's going, that's the earliest I've seen him taken in a while, usually like the 2-6, 2-7. Some receivers start to go as we're getting back to my pick. But yeah, Adams continues to fall. I mean, Adams is going to be a borderline first-round pick when Rodgers actually shows up and starts playing, which is probably going to be in 3 weeks, somewhere around there, you would think. So, yes, I think that to close the door on Travis Etienne, he's going to be involved. I mean, and the nice thing about him is if you're playing in half PPR or PPR, point per reception, the great thing about Travis Etienne is he comes in now and he's going to threaten. I mean, think about Alvin Kamara. He's getting 80 receptions a year, right? He's getting 100-plus targets. That's like the cream of the crop. But what if Travis Etienne comes in and gets 60 receptions on 80-plus targets? Like, that's the type of player he is. He is an Alvin Kamara-esque player, maybe not from an elusiveness standpoint, but from a being used in the passing game standpoint. The Miles Sanders, what we thought he might be. And I would say Etienne coming out as a much better prospect than Sanders, hence why he went in the first round, especially a couple of years after Sanders went in the second, where organizations are starting to take running backs later. So if Etienne was in that same draft, he's probably a top 15 pick, honestly, with where the NFL was then. So my top 13 running backs have now come off the board, and my top 2 tight ends. So my tier 1 tight ends, my top 2 tiers at running back. We'll see where we go here, as I'm now 2 picks away. On the flip side of that, I think James Robinson loses all of his passing game work. I think James Robinson maybe even loses some red zone work to Travis Etienne. It only makes sense. And some carries. So James Robinson, to me, is not really somebody I want to draft. He's a do not draft. He's a bust, in my opinion. He has no ties to the new regime and organization there. It makes sense. Last year, he wasn't even that productive. He was productive from an overall standpoint if you had him on your team, but a per game basis, he wasn't that productive. He was just their only running back on the team. We're on the clock, and Hopkins and Ridley go, which kind of sucks because I was looking at both those guys. You have Chris Carson here. You have Miles Sanders. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. DK Metcalf and Michael Thomas are still on the board. I think I'm going to go Miles Sanders or Michael Thomas here over Metcalf. Metcalf still looks good. Let's go DK. So DK now coming into a year where he's looking like a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. So we go with a wide receiver and a running back to start. So we get a nice running back in Zeke. We get the running back, or we get the receiver in DK. So we have our alpha at each spot there. And now I see people hopping into the chat. My friend Andrea says that he's watching. I just saw a text message come across my screen. I'm going to answer some of these questions as well coming into the chat. Justin Jefferson goes. I'm not really interested in him there. Antonio Brown goes. We're 1 pick away, and Michael Thomas is still on the board. I usually don't go 2 wide receivers in these first. Antonio Brown goes, not Antonio. A.J. Brown, not Antonio Brown, is what I meant to say. So Michael Thomas goes a pick before me. IC does the right thing and takes Michael Thomas. So my tier 1 wide receivers are gone, you bastard. So now I'm here with Chris Carson, DeAndre Swift, and Miles Sanders is where I'm looking to go with the top 2 tight ends gone. So we have like 10 seconds. It's not going to reach you guys in time, but Chris Carson, DeAndre Swift, and Miles Sanders is how I have it ranked in that order. I believe I'm going to go with Carson here, and we can start to, now that we have Carson, we kind of have this Seahawks stack without even really trying. What is a stack combining a quarterback with some of his passing weapons? I'm not going to reach on Russell Wilson now, but if we're there in the 6th or 7th and he falls to us, we have DK, we have Chris Carson. Carson is a pass-catching running back. You might not think that, but you started to see it 2 years ago. They made an effort to get him the ball more, they said, in the preseason. Comes out, he has 5-6 reception games. That was actually last year. Now that I think about it, then he got hurt. JM Football Productions says, Sal. So we got 2 running backs and a wide receiver. That's a solid start. You can see my team right now to the right of my face, just barely right there. Zeke, Carson, and DK. So questions in the chat says, does it got to be legal? We answer them. So what's your take on the Bears QB situation? I know you're pretty optimistic about Fields starting early. I'm a Bears fan, but from all the reports coming out, it seems that Dalton will be starting. Yeah, Dalton might start, but that's what they're going to say right now. I think it's very bad on... Look, the Bears organization sucks. Ryan Pace, right? I think that the head coach has been put in a bad spot. I don't think it's as much his problem as it is, obviously, the organization there. So it's a really bad thing when Ryan Pace and the head coach and the GM come out and say, we're 100% committed to Andy Dalton. When you draft a first-round rookie quarterback who looks to be fantastic, who fell in the draft, and you got lucky to trade up to take him, right? And he fits the model of what you want to do this year. And it's okay even if you want to go with Andy Dalton, and that's your thought right now. You should never say 100% we're locked into him, because then what's Justin Fields battling for? Why should he come into camp motivated if he knows he's not going to be the starter, right? When Justin Fields goes out there in the preseason and looks really good, and all the reports are on how Justin Fields looks great, now you have the pressure and the reports out there that you said Andy Dalton is definitely the starter. So it's just bad. It's just bad by their organization. But I do believe that there's a really good chance Justin Fields starts within the first 4 games, and I still think there's a decent chance he starts week 1. It just comes down to the preseason. Like, we don't have any tape, we don't have any hype around Justin Fields outside of what they're saying. Darnell Mooney saying he throws the prettiest deep ball. Like, Andy Dalton is what they had last year. Andy Dalton is Mitch Trubisky. Andy Dalton is Nick Foles. He is basically Nick Foles, right? In the past, he might have had a successful career with A.J. Green and some upside in terms of his overall fantasy production. And Miles Sanders goes at a really nice spot there. The 310 getting him late in the 3rd is a solid spot for Jay Sequoia. The fuck your name is. Solid spot. But yeah, a very, very solid overall, in my opinion. But where was I with that? I think Justin Fields is going to start very soon. We just got to see the preseason. I don't think there's much reason to make him wait. This isn't the old days. And when you look at but this guy waited to play. Aaron Rodgers waited to play, right? Tom Brady had to wait to play a little while. Patrick Mahomes waited almost a whole season to play, right? He came in that last week for the Chiefs. These are the outliers. You're looking at the mega outliers that waited to play, right? There's been other guys who have waited to play. You're looking at the mega outliers, and you're looking at them, if in Aaron Rodgers' case, from 15 years ago. So, yes. And the Chiefs situation was a very specific situation where Alex Smith was playing well, playing efficient. They were a contending team. Doesn't make as much sense to put that next guy in place, almost to a lesser extent like Rodgers and Jordan Love right now. So a lot of receivers going as I'm a couple picks away now. My top 2 tiers on wide receivers are now gone. We have 4 wide receivers going in a row. If I am Dolan RC right now, I'm not taking a wide receiver, and he doesn't. So that's good because you just saw 4 wide receivers go in a row, which likely means you're not getting the best wide receiver at that exact point. Tyler Lockett going was a questionable call there. But now we are a couple picks away. Coach S111, I've seen him in the DFS streets a couple of times before. I'm about 5 picks away. I'm looking at wide receiver. I'm not totally against running back because Travis Etienne is still sitting there in the 4th round. If he can somehow fall to the 5th, we'll see what ends up happening there. What to do, Sal? Good morning. Happy 25, says Cody. I appreciate that. Yeah, I turned 25 on June 30th. You're in Tennessee right now. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's legal in Tennessee, to be honest with you. If you've tried and it has not worked, well, then it's obviously not legal. So there goes the second quarterback, Lamar Jackson. As you can see, we're a couple picks away. Travis Etienne is still there. Jamar Chase is still there. Chris Godwin is still there. DJ Moore goes, but I'm not even interested in him. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp now both playing with Matthew Stafford. Lots of upside there still there. So there's a lot of picks here. I feel comfortable with whatever we're about to get. Myles Gaskin is still there. I typically avoid Barkley in the top 4 because of stacking. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't avoid a pick in the top 4 if you like them because of stacking, especially if it's like a running back. And Barkley is a fine pass-catching running back. A lot of that is skewed from what he did in his first year with Eli Manning and Daniel Jones not checking down as much. Daniel Jones being more mobile, can steal some touchdowns. I get all that. But I wouldn't skew away from one of those guys just specifically because of stacking. Amari and CeeDee Lamb go, so the idea of trying to stack them up with a Zeke and a Dak is gone. You can still get Dak and another wide receiver. So Josh Jacobs goes, who is not somebody I'm interested in. So here's an interesting spot. We're at the 410. Etienne and Myles Gaskin are there. We have two running backs and a receiver. Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin, and Jamar Chase are my best available right now from a wide receiver standpoint. So with that all being said, I think I might go Chris Godwin here at the late 4th. It's not a bad spot if we can get Travis Etienne to fall to us. So let's go Chris Godwin here. We take him over who in my rankings, Cooper Kupp and Deontay Johnson were higher. So maybe that's something that I have to go back and adjust the rankings now that they're officially out as of July 1st. The rankings are out. If you're interested, they're down below. Henry, you can turn and grab A.J. Brown in the 2. Yeah, but my thing is I'm not really interested, my man Daniel. I'm not interested in stacking like Derrick Henry with Ryan Tannehill. I'm just not like, if you get them together, you're only getting them because they're individual players. Like there's no correlation between Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. At like maybe some game flow correlation. Adam Thielen goes there. That's a brutal pick. That's a brutal pick at the 411. I mean, you could maybe get Thielen in the 5th, and I wouldn't even take him there. Kyle Pitts goes, so top 4 tight ends are off the board for me. Jamar Chase goes. That's a solid pick. We're 1 pick away. Lots of guys still on the board here. I mean, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp. I'm looking at Deontay. I'm looking at who I'm going to specifically go with on my end here. And there goes Cooper Kupp. This makes it very easy. Walk on down, Mr. Travis Etienne. I'm taking Travis Etienne over Mike Davis and Myles Gaskin. So I think I'm going to move up Travis Etienne in my rankings to my number 20 running back over Myles Gaskin and Mike Davis because this is now the second time I've taken him over both those guys. So I'm going to star that. Good morning, Sal, says my mother. Everybody welcome Mama Vetri into the chat. My lovely mother was just visiting last week with my lovely father. Celebrate my birthday. It was a good time. So we have 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers now. We can look at my overall team right to now. Let's pull up the team. Let's go to the double box here. So here's my team. And it's going to be a little bit cut off because I have this. Here's my team. Zeke, Carson, and Travis Etienne. Like I mentioned, I love getting Travis Etienne in the 5th. You're not going to be able to do that in August. Travis Etienne is going to take the 4th and maybe 3rd round leap in August once you start to see him play. DK Metcalf and Chris Godwin. We're kind of set up here if we want to go with Russell Wilson if he's still there at our 6th round pick to get a quarterback and a stack secured. I kind of like the idea of that. No tight ends yet, but I feel okay with where we are at there. So I'm feeling good about this draft. I really like the 3 running backs we're able to land. I really like the 2 receivers we're able to land. I mean, those are big name receivers that we got there at those specific spots. So Mike Davis goes. We could see here above me, we're now all caught up. T. Higgins goes. So we still get Myles Gaskin. If you're going to get Myles Gaskin at the end of the 5th, beginning of the 6th, that's a solid spot to be taking a Myles Gaskin. T. Higgins for me, I think that is a solid spot to be taking him. Deontay Johnson's still out there, though. Won't fall to us. With Zeke, you can most likely get Zeke at that spot, Lamb and Cooper in the third, or Gallup in the eighth, and Dak. Yeah, if you get Zeke, you can get Gallup late. So, like, even right now, we can build this Cowboys stack out. Zeke, I feel comfortable with. He'll be involved in the passing game. We saw it last year. So, yeah, you can get Gallup late, 7th, 8th, 9th, somewhere around there, and you can get Dak. So, right here, I could either secure the stack with Seattle, which I think I'm going to do, or go back-to-back quarterback if they're both there, get Dak and Russ, and now we're really cooking. There goes Deontay, there goes Myles Gaskin. So now my top 3 tiers of running backs are gone. My top 3 tiers of running backs are gone. I have a small tier 4 of 4 running backs, and that would be the guys remaining in that, Chase Edmonds and Kareem Hunt. After that, I mean, there's like the Damian Harris, Michael Carter, Javonte Williams types of running backs, but none of those are some of your 0 RB candidates. And there goes the one said Javonte Williams. I signed up with your underdog with your code, but it's just a best ball contest, 156K entries. No, there's that contest, but then you have to filter up top. It'll say like MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL. I don't know if they're done NHL. So there goes Dak. So there goes our thoughts on getting Dak. Herbert goes before Russell Wilson. So now I'm getting a little bit panicked as somebody might take Russell Wilson before we can secure that stack. It's no big deal overall, but it would be very nice to already have a stack locked up early. So Russell Wilson goes. Damn. So Russell Wilson goes at the 6-3. Oh, well. So we lose out on that stack. We're going to have to build a backdoor stack, which we can get late stacks, right? We can get some late stacks really at any point we want. We can get the Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, DJ Shark, or Laviska Shenault stack. We can get a Tom Brady with Chris Godwin and get Antonio Brown in a little while, which if that's the case, we're going to have to start to take at the 6-10, maybe take Tom Brady there. And we can try and backdoor this Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Tom Brady stack. And look at that. We have a nice stack if we can get there. Hopefully whoever's in this chat is not drafting and taking similar ideas to what I'm thinking. Because these next 2 picks, we can go with Tom Brady here. And then we can go ahead and say, screw it, at the beginning of the 7th, we'll take Antonio Brown, who I'm high on. Maybe not that high to take him at the beginning of the 7th, but will he make it to the end of the 8th? We could actually look. Let's see Antonio Brown's ADP here. So the nice thing is you can type in Tampa Bay, and it'll come up with all the Tampa Bay receivers. Or you can misspell it like I just did. So Antonio Brown and Tom Brady. Antonio Brown is on average going at the 88th overall pick. So for sure we can get him right here. He's going overall at the 7-3. So Antonio Brown is probably one of the best available players on the board right now, right? Yeah, there's like 10 to 15 guys ahead of Antonio Brown right now. So there goes Odell, there goes Kenny Golladay and TJ Hawkinson. I'm not really worried about tight end. If I'm not getting a top 3 tight end, which I rarely do from where I'm drafting, I would take one. I would take a Darren Waller in the 3rd if it was the right time, but he's just rarely there at that time. Odell goes. That's not too early, but somewhat early for me. Kareem Hunt. So there goes. So Kareem Hunt, Chase Edmonds is my only decent player left in tier 4. So I think I'm going to go Antonio Brown here and then get Tom Brady at the next pick. So Antonio Brown is on average going at the 7-3. We can take him at the 6-10 to try and secure this Tampa Bay stack. And then that's not a bad idea. Might want to go Brady first, though, because then at least even you don't get screwed and have 2 guys from this team without the quarterback. So going Brady first, even if Brown goes, well, you can maybe get a Gronk or a Scotty Miller later, or at least you have one player here. So taking Brady at the 6-10 is definitely early. He usually goes around the 8th round, which could be scary to take him here. But especially with Jalen Hurts on the board, Joe Burrow on the board, that's reaching. That's, in my opinion, that's reaching just to try and get your stack, which is not what I want to do here. So I'll go Antonio Brown. He normally goes at the 7-3 based on his ADP. We get him at the 6-10. We quote-unquote reached like 5 picks. It's not that big of a deal. So now we're set up for a Tampa Bay stack. And then taking, let's see. Right now, Brady is on average going in underdog at the 8-3. So we would take him at the 7-3. So that is around early, which is probably a little bit too early. So maybe we gamble and try and go with another running back or wide receiver. Probably wide receiver since we already have 3 running backs. It's just load up on wide receiver time. Is it possible to move the box of your live video to the corner to see the screen better? So to the corner, you want me to move this bad boy like that? That works if it works for you. You just can't see my team then, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. So there goes Jalen Hurts. There goes Courtland Sutton. Feels a little bit awkward now where the screen's at. I don't know if it's just me. It feels a little bit awkward. These are the best availables left at wide receiver. Oh, shit. I'm on the board. Oh, no. I was too busy talking to people. Son of a bitch. You got to be fucking kidding me. And it took us Tom Brady. Oh, we already have him queued up. All right, so that's fine. I was talking to my man in the chat, or my woman, I guess, in the chat, Brenda T. So we take Tom Brady around early. It was an auto pick because he was in my queue. Let me make sure I'm all right, so I'm not on auto pick, though. Damn. I was too busy changing the video on the screen. to realize that I was picking, but it actually didn't end up hurting us. I was going to try and get a little bit risky maybe and take Tom Brady and see if he comes back to us at the end of the 7th and falls. But we secure the Tampa Bay stack. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Tom Brady seems like a pretty damn good stack to me, in my opinion. Trey Sermon's going, Raheem Mostert's going, guys that I really don't have much interest in. I know the hype is coming in on Trey Sermon. They can keep that hype. I'm good. Top 3 tiers of wide receivers are now gone as well. Robbie Anderson goes. Devonta Smith goes. He's been going really, really early in these drafts. I don't understand it too much, to be completely honest with you. Debo goes. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy's still on the board. Michael Gallup's still on the board here. That's around the time that they go. There goes Michael Gallup. Chase Edmonds is still on the board? No fucking way. Somebody's going to get a steal, but Chase Edmonds at the end of the 7th round. Holy shit. I mean, Chase Edmonds right now, obviously James Conner's out there, but Chase Edmonds' ADP is like the 6th round, the 5th round. He's here at the end of the 7th. Somebody's going to get an absolute steal with Chase Edmonds here. Sounds good. Yeah, no problem. How much is the draft guide, says Finesse God? Well, it's completely free if you sign up through Prize Picks, and even if you're already signed up for Prize Picks, there's a workaround. There's a link down below. It takes you to a landing page and describes everything, even if you're already a member of Prize Picks. And Coach, I don't know if you're watching this live, Coach, but great pick there with Edmonds. That's an amazing value, getting him 2 rounds later than you should have. But yes, the draft guide it's $39.99. It comes with around 200 player profiles, just breakdowns of them. You can actually see, we can pull up some of it right now. So it comes with all the ranks, all the tiers. You can see some of these drop-down menus right here. All the key stats in terms of reliability charts, quarterback, running back, tight end, wide receiver, key stats. And then it comes with the player profiles, not only for every single rookie that was drafted, which is important, and even some undrafted rookies. Let me just make sure I'm fucking paying. I'm 11 picks away, so we got time. And I'm going to be looking at a wide receiver next pick, by the way, so I kind of already know where I want to go. But then you pull up all the player profiles. These are not in ranking order. This is just kind of how I was going about it. But for example, if you wanted to pick up, okay, let's see with Cam Akers. Let's see his player profile. So it comes up Cam Akers, his production last year, his production in college since he is a second-year player, their offseason changes, his durability, the projected game environment, his offensive line play, his backfield competition, all of this and similar stuff for wide receivers and similar stuff for tight ends and so on and so forth. So that's all included in the draft guide. But instead of paying $39.99, you can get it as a add-on bonus for free if you sign up for Prize Picks, since they are sponsoring. And if you're already signed up, there's a way to get it through a referral program. It's similar to what we did last year. I'm just making it more accessible to more people now. And if Prize Picks is not legal in your state, you can reach out to me and we can work out a deal that would get it a similar value for you. So Mike Williams is continuing to gain steam. I get it. Like Ketchup Stain gets Mike Williams at the end of the 7th. I get why people want to get him. He's picking up hype, it seems like, in some of the podcasts that I listen to. His ADP is rising. I understand why people want to go there. I'm just a little bit hesitant to be taking Mike Williams over Brandon Cooks, Curtis Samuel, Jarvis Landry, Darnell Mooney, Juju Smith-Schuster is definitely not on the board anymore, right? Yeah, Juju's not on the board. But all those guys, right? So taking Mike Williams there is somewhat of a stretch in my opinion. Not the worst stretch, but somewhat of a stretch. So Dallas Goedert goes. My top 7 tight ends are now off the board. Michael Carter goes. It's a solid pick there at this point in the draft. So we are a couple picks away now. I'm looking wide receiver here. What do you guys think? Bobby Trees. Yes, Bobby Trees. Somebody says get Brady and Gronk. I already have 2 of the wide receivers. I don't really want to reach here for Gronk. I feel comfortable with having the 2 wide receivers. I have Antonio Brown and Godwin with Brady. So there goes Will Fuller. Coach is making some nice picks here. I'm looking here for wide receiver or running back. I already have 3 running backs, though, so I'm not trying to get too many. I'm not really seeing great ones. I mean, I could get Laviska Shenault, who I'm not that high on, to be honest with you, but he is past his ADP. Laviska Shenault is usually taken around the 7th round, like mid-7th round. We're here at the end of the 8th. I'm just not that high on Laviska. I see Curtis Samuel. I see Jarvis Landry still on the board. Laviska is nice because we can pair him with Travis Etienne and then get the later pick of Trevor Lawrence to stack that thing up. But we'll kind of see how this goes. Fournette and Zach Moss are the best available running backs left on the board, in my opinion. Logan Thomas, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant, Robert Tonyan, Adam Trotman, all these guys who are similar tight ends. That's why I'm not taking them, are the best available. I already use Prize Picks as Finesse God. Yeah, that's fine if you do. There's a system in place for you to still be eligible. That's a big thing I wanted to work out with Prize Picks. So there goes Laviska Shenault. My best available wide receivers are Curtis Samuel and Jarvis Landry. Obviously, Samuel with some upside playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick. There goes James Robinson, just a brutal pick in my opinion. He's my 40th. I had like 8 running backs ahead of him. So I think we go Curtis Samuel here. I'm not really looking to take Zach Moss or Leonard Fournette. The only decision point would be Curtis Samuel or Jarvis Landry or Darnell Mooney, and we pick in like 6 more picks, so there's a chance that those guys will be there, where Curtis Samuel probably won't be. So I'll take Samuel playing with Ryan Fitzpatrick for the probably large portion of the season, in my opinion. And Darnell Mooney goes a pick after, so obviously people are up to tune on how well Darnell Mooney looks. Fitz loves him some tight ends, somebody says. Fitz loves him some tight ends. So you're looking at the Logan Thomas land. Should I do this late Washington stack with Logan Thomas and Fitz later on? Got the Curtis Samuel. I'm not looking too much to do that. James Conner. So it's interesting. For whatever reason, people don't want to take Leonard Fournette. People don't want to take Ronald Jones. I'm on the clock yet again. We're not going to mess it up this time. Jarvis Landry is my best available wide receiver on the board. I could take a Leonard Fournette here in the 9th round, which would just secure my running backs, and I might do that. Let's do it. It's going to increase the stack even more. So we're going to go Leonard Fournette. Usually I only take 4 to 5 running backs. We have 4 now, but the nice thing with that Leonard Fournette pick is his ADP says that he goes at like the 8-5. So we got Leonard Fournette as a value. Didn't have to take him. We were able to get Curtis Samuel, and he just combines to this Tampa Bay stack. So we don't even have to go with another stack if we don't want to because we have this mega one. Brady, Leonard Fournette, pass-catching running back, right? And then Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. So we got this major stack right now with Tampa Bay, and that felt good. I was going to go Jarvis Landry, but why not secure a stack, finish up the running back at a value instead of my 4th running back being like Darrell Henderson later on, which is not a terrible 4th running back. He'll still be used in a high-run offense. Fournette, I'll just take for the stack. So there goes Hollywood Brown. So now that we have our 4 running backs, we have 1 wide receiver. It's time to start, or 1 quarterback. It's time to start looking at tight ends and then just loading up on these wide receivers now. But there's just still so many solid tight ends left. Gesicki, Font, Jarwin, Evan Ingram, Adam Trautman, all these guys. There's just so many. They're just so deep at tight end. And by deep, I don't mean great tight ends, but I just mean guys that just look very similar to each other. So I'm just not, every time somebody gets picked, I'm taking it off of the rankings just to keep up to date. Will the draft guide be available to your OG Patreons? So that's the draft guide is just going to be a separate product. So it's not like included in Patreon. If there's like an easy way to work it in, it would be nice. I can give probably the Patrons a specific coupon, but it's also like just a free add-on if you're already a Prize Picks member. Like if you're a Prize Picks, somebody who uses Prize Picks and you refer somebody, you get the draft guide. They tell me that. So that's the nice thing. You don't have to put any additional money in. If you're not already on Prize Picks, you make your first deposit of a minimum of, I think it's $10, and as long as you use the code SALNFL, it's linked down below, you get a draft guide. So instead of paying $40, you get $10. But if you are a patron who is not in a legal Prize Picks state and you can't refer somebody, reach out to me and we can work something out. But yeah, it's a totally separate product than Patreon. It's just like a one-time product, just like it was last year. But reach out to me, Cody, and we could see what we can do for you, the OG. So there goes Matt Stafford. Aaron Rodgers just continues to fall. Like, everybody's concerned that this guy's going to retire in his fucking prime. Aaron Rodgers and Joe Burrow, my best available quarterbacks left. They fooling themselves. Running backs just flying. Gus Edwards is still on the board, man. Everybody hates Gus Edwards. We're in the 10th round, and Gus Edwards is still on the board. A guy who's going to average 10 to 12 touches a game. He's going to see 20 to 30 plus opportunities in the red zone, and nobody wants to take him. They want to take backups like Tony Pollard who aren't going to be involved outside of a Zeke injury, right? It doesn't make much sense to me. I get the upside in Tony Pollard, but his first 8 weeks have taken zeros for you before he gets to start and maybe produce. It's just an interesting thing. Elijah Moore and Amari Rogers, or that's Aaron Rodgers, I was going to say. Elijah Moore goes very early. There goes Gus Edwards. Maybe Dolan's watching this. That was the best available running back by far. Now you're looking at like the Melvin Gordons of the world. Maybe David Johnson if you're really thinking that he'll be something. I'm never taking Latavius Murray ever again. I mean, the guy's almost 32 years old, dealing with knee injuries, might not even make the roster. People, like, I think we forget how old Latavius Murray is. He came into the league when I was like a freshman in college. I remember he broke up that Thursday Night Football long run, then tore his ACL or something as a rookie. And he came in the league as an older rookie. So my top 3 tiers, so we're picking in a couple picks here. So we got to start getting our act together. We got to look for tight ends here. Rashad Bateman goes. So we're going to be looking for tight ends and wide receivers. So let's pull up tight ends and wide receivers. In terms of tight ends, they're just all the same still. Like Mike Gesicki, Adam Trautman, Irv Smith. Like, I don't know why I want to be taking these guys. They start to go around this range, like the 11th round, which is where we are. So maybe we go Gesicki. In terms of stacking, I'm not too interested in most of these guys. So we'll take a tight end here, like Gronk we can go to and just have this mega Tampa Bay stack. What's the team looking like? James Robinson? No interest in James Robinson. He is a do not draft complete bust in my opinion. You've already got Etienne. Yep, Etienne is the much better pick. He was my 5th round pick in this draft, 4th round pick we got him at? Yeah, 4th. Actually, he was did we get him in the 5th? Yeah, because we took Chris Carson. So he somehow got him at the 5th. So a bunch of wide receivers go in a row, which is a great time to not take a wide receiver since so many just went in a row. Let's go with Mike Gesicki here. I like Adam Trautman more, but do we take the proven commodity Mike Gesicki with more competition, new quarterback who did like him when healthy last year, or do we take Adam Trautman? Let's take the proven commodity in Mike Gesicki. We can go back-to-back tight ends here and just secure that position as well and just go at Mike Gesicki and Adam Trautman. But the reason I said I'm definitely going tight end now is just 4 wide receivers won in a row, all of which I was looking at. Like I was looking at Corey Davis. Not so much Devontae Parker, but I was looking at him somewhat. I was looking at Russell Gage, right? So all these guys go in a row. I just know that I didn't get the best value at wide receiver in that range. I'm 1 pick away again. So let's see what we can start to do here. As a couple of guys from Jacksonville go, Kenyon Drake goes. He went pretty late here. David Johnson's still on the board as a 5th running back, which is by no means a bad idea either. So instead of going back-to-back, I mean, we might go David Johnson here. What's the best available wide receivers? Henry Ruggs is still on the board. Nelson Aguilar. Marvin Jones just went. Not totally against the Henry Ruggs call. But, man, I mean, David Johnson's still on the board here. David Johnson usually goes, I believe, at like the 9th round. He usually goes at the 10-6. So I don't usually take 5 running backs, but David Johnson looks to be in a position to start. I know he's getting up there in age. It seems gross, but let's go David Johnson. I don't normally take 5 running backs, but he's my best available running back, and that looks good. So now we're definitely closing the door on running backs. Instead of taking 10 wide receivers, we'll only probably take 9. So we got a quarterback. We got a tight end. Done with running back. We'll take another. So there goes Nelson Aguilar, right? I was looking at him too. We'll take another quarterback. We don't even need this stack since we have this mega Tampa Bay stack, but maybe we can work in a backdoor stack somehow, some way. We have one more tight end need, which can be massively late to take a tight end late. Like there's even guys like Dan Arnold who never get drafted. I don't think he's great, right? He's playing on Carolina, right? But it's fine as a second tight end when none of these guys are going to be that great. What round did Javonte Williams get drafted? I think somebody took him in the 7th. Mooney went pretty early. Yeah, he continues to go earlier and earlier. Fitz loves him some tight ends, potentially. Will we see similar products as last year on Patreon in regards to best ball and season long? So last year in terms of best ball and season long, I didn't have any products on Patreon. They were all in the draft guide itself. But in terms of like the NFL, like Patreon is basically just like the betting side and the DFS side, right? That's where that's kind of housed. The stuff that actually is relevant on a month-to-month basis instead of just this one specific season of the summer. That's where it's just like kind of a single product. But in terms of NFL, yeah, it's going to be similar stuff. Ownership projections. We're going to have an NFL optimizer this year. Game-by-game notes. Showdown projections. Showdown ownership. Showdown optimizer. A lot of stuff over there. The key stats databases. The targets, touches, all that stuff updated. Latavius Murray goes. Not great. Latavius Murray going over Jamal Williams is just an absolute joke show. I mean, just an absolute joke show. 32-year-old Latavius Murray might not even make his roster. There goes Adam Trautman. That's a good pick. Dolan's been making some nice picks. I don't know if he's using my draft guide, but making some nice picks. So my top 13 tight ends are off the board. And, oh, what do you know? There's still like 15 more starting tight ends in the NFL. So lots of opportunities still out there. Melvin Gordon goes really late. I mean, I don't like Melvin Gordon, but getting him in the 11th round it's not the worst idea by any means. Naeem Hines goes. All right. We're still a decent amount of picks away. A bunch of backup running backs are going, which is great because I don't have to take a running back. So Henry Ruggs goes at the last pick of the 11th round. That's a solid spot to be finding yourself some Henry Ruggs. I'm not even really looking to, like, I'll stack if I need to, but I'm not looking to take a specific wide receiver at this point just to stack. Like, we can stack up with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but who knows how long he'll be there. I only have 4 receivers, so it's time to go just crazy on wide receivers right now. But those 4 receivers are fine. Godwin, DK Metcalf, Antonio Brown, Curtis Samuel. But it's time to just start stacking up these wide receivers now as Paris Campbell goes. Like, I'm looking at John Browns of the world. I'm looking at, Gabriel Davis went so early. But I'm looking at the John Browns of the world, the Amon-Ra St. Browns, who could potentially be wide receiver 1s. There's still Cole Beasley on the board, who even knows based on what he's saying if he'll play or not. He says he's made his money. He doesn't have to play. He doesn't agree with the NFL rules around health and COVID and all that stuff, which is a can of worms in itself. Robinson, the same dude who finished RB1 last year. ETN will not be fed up the middle. No chance. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, sir Shibby. I don't think you take a running back in the first round to not use him on the ground as a running back, right? Robinson wasn't even good last year. So in terms of finishing as an RB1, yes, he finished 7th overall, James Robinson in PPR formats. But that's because he had the number 1 opportunity share in the NFL. Why is that? Leonard Fournette got cut. Raquel Armstrong, their only other draft capital on their roster, running back, got COVID, missed the entire year. Devine Azebo got an ankle sprain in camp. He was the only running back on the depth chart, right? Chris Thompson got banged up. Only running back on the depth chart. They had to start getting undrafted free agents just like him. So he's not going to see an 86% opportunity share. Like, that's unheard of, right? Even the Christian McCaffreys of the world and things like that aren't going to see that. So when that starts to drop, when he sees nowhere near the same amount of 4 to 5 targets per game that he saw last year, it's the RIP show for James Robinson. when he's not going to see 250 carries on the ground because there's actually, I mean, even Carlos Hyde, who I don't think is going to be heavily involved, he'll see 2 touches a game, something along there, take another 25 touches away that Devine Azebo couldn't even take last year, right? Is Jameis Winston still on the board? I mean, that's pretty crazy if so. So running backs, I don't even care who's coming off the board at running back at this point. T.Y. Hilton goes. So I'm on the clock now. In terms of, I'm going wide receiver here. Terrace Marshall's there. I think John Brown's the answer. I mean, Cole Beasley's there as well, which isn't a bad idea. It just, is this motherfucker going to play this year? So let's go Cole Beasley. We'll bank on the fact that he's playing. And the only reason why Cole Beasley wasn't drafted yet, I mean, we got him at the 12-10. The only reason why Cole Beasley wasn't drafted yet is because people are concerned if he's even going to play. Just because of some of the narratives flying around there that he put out on Twitter that doesn't look great. But just like anything else in the media circle, you guys probably already forgot about that because it was 2 weeks ago. And a month from now, nobody's even going to remember that. Probably not even Cole Beasley. And he'll remember his millions of dollars that he'd leave on the table. Are stacks a must in best ball? I would try and get at least 1 stack. I don't think you have to stack every single quarterback. It depends on what you do with the rest of the draft. Corey Davis, ? He is gone. Justin Fields goes. So I should probably take a running back or a quarterback now because Justin Fields and Matt Ryan just went. I'm 2 picks away. I mean, Jameis is still on the board. Terrace Marshall goes. I only have 5 receivers. Should I just keep going here with wide receiver? Because do I really need another quarterback right now? There's still 2. There's still Cousins. There's still Baker. There's still Wentz, Daniel Jones, Zack Wilson, Jameis Winston. Like I like Jameis, but there's just so many quarterbacks left when there's not as many great wide receivers left. My best available wide receiver left is Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'll go Amon-Ra St. Brown over the proven commodity in John Brown. Just because we'll take the rookie who has no target competition compared to John Brown, who is the aging veteran, still productive last year when healthy, but he's going into an offense where there's Darren Waller's the obvious. They now have 2 running backs for a team that likes to run the ball 20-plus times a game with Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. And, they have second-year players, Bryan Edwards and Henry Ruggs, both who are healthy and going to be seeing, third-round pick, Bryan Edwards, first-round pick, first wide receiver off the board last year. Both are going to see healthy workload. Jamal Williams at the 13-4 is a great spot, King of the North, to get Jamal Williams. It's a great spot to take a running back. So I took 5 running backs. We're gonna test it out, see if that actually looks nice at the end of the day. If taking 5 running backs is something that I like doing, we'll see. This is the first time I think I've taken 5, maybe the second. Derek Skir will be nice tight end in Tennessee. Yeah, I liked him a lot more. First Skir, before the obvious Julio Jones trade. Rather take Gus late over Dobbins super early. I completely agree. I have no interest in J.K. Dobbins. Obviously, if he falls like 2 rounds, I'll take him, but no interest in where he's currently going. Oh, now it's backup running back season. Coach takes Alexander Madison. John Brown goes. That's a good spot. Is this info about James Robinson on the draft guide? Yeah, it's in his player profile. Like James Robinson is just an average running back. That's why he was an undrafted running back. He was just an average running back. He did not put up top 10 efficiency running back numbers, top 20 broken tackle like numbers on a per touch basis overall because he got a lot of work he might have, but not on a per touch basis. James Robinson was an average running back who fell into the ideal situation. 1 running back cut, 1 running back gets a rare disease that comes around every 100 years and misses the entire season, and the other only running back on the roster at that time sprains his ankle. So it's, okay, let's give James Robinson every single touch. Okay, he averaged 4 yards per carry, let's give him every single touch next week. Okay, he averaged another 4 yards per carry, like just average running back. Not terrible, not great, average. But then when you have a supreme talent, Travis Etienne, come out of the draft and you spend a first-round pick on him, it's RIP James Robinson, right? Does that mean he gets 0 carries per game, James Robinson? No. But I do think that people are going to expect James Robinson to see 14 to 16 to 18 touches in a game, and that's not going to happen. Maybe for a week or 2 it does. But it's more so going to be, I think James Robinson is now Gus Edwards. I think he'll see 8 to 10 carries. Etienne himself, J.K. Dobbins, we'll call the Etienne, will see, let's call it 10 to 12 carries, but he'll also see 6 targets. And that's what looks really fucking good, right? Loads of receivers going in a row here. Holy shit. I mean, open up the tanks on the wide receivers just going at this point. 6 wide receivers in a row. Sterling Shepard's goes. Christian Kirk's goes. They're all just going at this point. Bryan Edwards is still on the board, who I do like, and I'm probably going to take if he's still there. But man, oh man, the wide receivers are just flying off the board. Traquan Smith. Jacoby Myers goes. Tyrell Williams, who I'm not interested in any of these guys, if I'm being completely honest with you. These guys are ranked so low for me. J.D. McKissick, so we switch it up finally with a not wide receiver. Amari Rogers is on the board here, so yeah, we're just going to continue to go wide receiver. We'll take a look, right? We'll take a look now that we have 6 wide receivers. We can take a look at tight end and quarterback and see and just make sure that there's somebody there for us to take. So let's take a look at tight end and quarterback. Jamison Crowder is still on the board. God damn. 15. There goes Bryan Edwards. He was the guy that I was going to take. I can't believe Jamison Crowder is still on the board. I get it. Elijah Moore is there. I get it, but I don't think that Jamison Crowder is not going to be. I know he took a pay cut, so now there's less incentive to play him. They obviously signed Corey Davis. They signed Keelan Cole, but shit, that stuff's crazy. Emmanuel Sanders still on the board, 4th wide receiver, maybe even 3rd ahead of Gabriel Davis. They run a lot of 4 wide receiver sets out in Buffalo. So let's see where we're at with tight ends. Tight ends available right now. I mean, quarterbacks, there's still a good amount left. Like even Derek Carr as your second quarterback is not the worst thing in the world. So Carson Wentz, Zack Wilson. I might go Zack Wilson here. Let's just go Zack Wilson and see if we can get Crowder and do a little late stack there. Tight ends, Jonnu, Rob Gronkowski's still there if we wanted to go super stack. But so many tight ends. Austin Hooper, Eric Ebron, Cole Kmet are all starting tight ends. In my opinion, Cole Kmet is. So I can still wait on tight end. Wide receivers, there are any glaring wide receivers? Crowder is there. So I'm going to take Crowder here. I think he fell too much. So we'll take Crowder. Obviously, there's a lot of wide receivers in that locker room. Elijah Moore is standing out in camp. They gave big money to Corey Davis. They paid $5 million to Keelan Cole. But Crowder, even taking a pay cut, is still making more than Keelan Cole. He's still young. He's only 27 years old, Crowder. It seems like he's been in the league forever. And to get Crowder in the 14th round feels completely fine to me. I like Crowder a lot there. And I would usually take Denzel Mims there because he's still on the board, but the reports don't look anywhere near as good on Denzel Mims. And those actually seem somewhat stable because he has not ran with the ones yet, and there has not been a reported injury, which is a concern. Let's see where does Zack Wilson usually go? This might be a little bit of a reach and might not be worth taking right now. Zack Wilson usually goes at the 14.5 or at the 15.3. So we can do a little late. I don't really care to stack Zack Wilson, if I'm being honest with you. Like, I don't care that much to be getting Zack Wilson here. Like, we can just go with Jameis Winston. But to secure this little stack, we'll go Crowder or we'll go Wilson. So we're secure now in quarterbacks. We're just going to take one more tight end and then a couple more wide receivers. Jamison Crowder or Sanders? Give me Crowder. Both in the 14th, a good pick. Yeah, give me Crowder there. Ayuk is good. I agree. Ayuk thoughts? Yeah, I like Ayuk. I think he's my favorite wide receiver on that team to pick. He's my favorite player on that team to pick outside of Trey Lance late. In terms of their ADP, he's my favorite. So no more quarterbacks. It's just tight end. We'll get one more. The beautiful thing about tight end is we can, in the 16th, 17th round, get fucking Eric Ebron, a starting tight end who was a top 10 in routes run last year, top 10 in targets, right? Just fantastic. We should load up on some wide receivers. Cole Kmet, who in the final month of the season usurped Jimmy Graham's role, running double the amount of routes. Sal, who's on the team? Brady, Godwin, Etienne, Crowder, Wilson. Those are some of the guys. I'll show you the entire team right now. So here's my squad. Brady, Wilson, Zeke, Chris Carson, Travis Etienne, Leonard Fournette, David Johnson. So 5 starting running backs right now, which is not bad. DK Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. So there's your stack with Tom Brady. Curtis Samuel, Cole Beasley, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Crowder. And you can't see my tight end because it's I zoomed in or I cropped the screen, but it is Mike Gesicki, my main tight end. We need to secure another one, of course. But before we do that, we want to secure some wide receivers. And right now, I believe we still have, I think Emmanuel Sanders is still out there. No, he got taken. So Amari Rogers is still out there. That's somebody that I'm looking at the next time around. Amari Rogers is probably my Olmadid. Zacchaeus is still out there with no Julio. Did MVS get taken? Deshaun Jackson is still out there. MVS got taken, right? Yeah. Okay. So MVS got taken. We'll take him off our board. So I'm looking at Deshaun Jacksons of the world. I'm looking at Amari Rogers goes. I hope that person wasn't watching this. That would make me annoyed. Dwayne Eskridge is still there. Got a little bit of an injury in camp, but it's still okay to me. The number 3 wide receiver on a passing offense. Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to start for this team. Olmadid Zacchaeus just stunk last year, but going to get opportunities now. So those are a couple wide receivers that I'm looking at. Kadarius Toney, I will at least give somewhat of a nod to. Outside of that, though, not much left down here. I'll take my last pick on wide receiver, like Amir Smith-Marset. We can go Scotty Miller and get 5 guys from Tampa Bay and just ensure that whoever Tom Brady throws to, we're getting points from. So a lot of wide receivers that I'm queuing up here. Some tight ends are starting to go. So with my 16th pick, I'm going to take a tight end. We still got another 9 picks, but I'll take a tight end just to secure that position, unless there's a wide receiver I really want that might go. But tight ends are starting to fall off the board. Austin Hooper, Cole Kmet, Eric Ebron are really the 3 left that I would feel comfortable with. So hopefully one of them falls to us. Hey, Sal, how you doing? Says Chase Nichols. I'm doing well. We've been live for about an hour. We're finishing up this draft. We got 3 picks left, and then we're done. Rookie Green Bay wide receiver? Yes, that is Amari Rogers, and I do like him, but he just went off the board. Somebody says Scotty Miller with a face like this. Look, man, Cole Kmet goes. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit worried because there's not many starting tight ends left. We might have waited too long. Austin Hooper and Eric Ebron is what I'm looking at here. Look, man, you don't got to make fun. Sal, good to see you. Good to see you as well. No need to make fun of Scotty. Scotty Miller was one of the best slot receivers in college of all time. Scotty Miller in the NFL has been fine. He's been fine. When he has opportunity, he's fine. The problem is, does he get an opportunity now with Antonio Brown there? Well, and Tyler Johnson's also there. There goes Eric Ebron. motherfucker, all these tight ends are going to go. Son of a bitch. I mean, everybody picking ahead of me has 2 tight ends. Are people really going to take 3 tight ends in this draft? Like, come on now. What's up, Sal? What's going on? GOAT DFS, how you doing? Yeah, so, no, I'm not going to take Scotty Miller unless it is my last pick. I'd rather take a wide receiver, though, like Amir Smith-Marset, the wide receiver 3 for the Minnesota Vikings, right? Especially with who I expect to regress, especially from a touchdown standpoint. Adam Thielen, who I would not take unless he somehow fell into the 6th or 7th round, which will never happen. Exactly. AB is there now. Yeah, AB is there, which is the reason I have AB. But we're talking 18th round pick here. I'm completely fine taking Scotty Miller with my 18th pick rather than, what are the other options at that point? Rashad Higgins, Keelan Cole is not bad if you want to get a really late stack. Keelan Cole is going to play on this Jets team. He'll play more than Scotty Miller. Like, that's definitely true. I mean, they paid him $5 million. But yeah, I mean, Scotty Miller, the problem is, when Antonio Brown showed up, he ran 6 routes, 8 routes, 4 routes, 9 routes, then 13 and 17 routes to close the season out, which was good to see. And that's with all those wide receivers healthy. Aaron Rodgers bumming us out. Nah, I don't think so. Aaron Rodgers is fine. He's going to play for the team. This is just all this is a blown out of proportion situation because nobody has anything to talk about in the NFL during the offseason. It's as simple as that. Deshaun Jackson in the 16th round, come on down unless Austin Hooper fell here. Did Austin Hooper fall? Austin Hooper fell, so we're going to get our backup tight end, Austin Hooper, who's actually a starting tight end, and we like to see that. Austin Hooper last year, who people are like, Austin Hooper, he didn't do anything last year. I don't know what you were looking at. Austin Hooper missed 3 weeks with appendicitis last year, and then even coming back right after that, you have to imagine he was somewhat affected by, having his fucking appendix removed. I'm on the clock here. We'll go Deshaun Jackson in the 17th round, and the 18th round we'll be looking at an Amir Smith-Marset, a Scotty Miller, so I feel good with where we're at. We got Austin Hooper in the 16th, Deshaun Jackson in the 17th, who's going to start over Tutu Atwell, who's going to start in 3 wide receiver sets. Oh, yeah, with Matthew Stafford out there, who threw deep to Kenny Golladay pretty successfully, and Marvin Jones. He's going to be the clear downfield option for Matthew Stafford. Cooper Kupp, intermediate. Robert Woods, intermediate. We like that. Don't sleep, Sal. Van Jefferson. No, I'm good on Van Jefferson, my man. I'm good. Van Jefferson, not an athlete in terms of any type of spark score or anything like that. Van Jefferson last year, he would have like those 2-yard touchdowns on Thursday Night Football. I'm good on Van Jefferson, man. Van Jefferson's buried. Last year I had some hope in him, but not really interested. When Deshaun Jackson goes down, Van Jefferson is coming in. I think Tutu Atwell's probably coming in, to be honest with you. Anthony Miller or Darius Slayton just go. But yes, last year, Austin Hooper, people always forget injuries and how those affect people, especially rookies. Austin Hooper was fine. I mean, Austin Hooper closed out the season, if you recall, with a 15-target game, 43 routes run against the Jets. Austin Hooper closed out the season with 3 straight performances of 14 or more fantasy points, right? Last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of 10 or more fantasy points. I'll take that this late. Top 3 running backs that I have on my roster right now or just in general, if you want to clarify that for me, Mr. Aaron. Yeah, if you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're coming up on our last pick. We can talk about it when we get there. But be sure to hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that. Thanks, and Sal, we trust. Yeah, NFL content starting on not July 5th, not Monday because there's a basketball game, but July 6th, we're coming right back out. I have a schedule. I have already 6 videos scheduled for the next 2 weeks. Not this week, but the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to continue to work on those today and as we go forward. So hit the subscribe button, NFL 2021. There's already videos out if you want to check those out in the playlist. And if you want to draft on Underdog, where we're drafting right now, right here, Underdog, if you put in the code SAL, there's a link in the description. If you want to draft in best ball drafts, try and win $1,001,000, which is what we're trying to fight for right now. This is not a mock draft. This is trying to win $1,001,000. You do that. All you have to do is put in $2. You put in just $2, $3 deposit. They will give you a $25 credit if you use the code SAL to let them know you came from me. I'm drafting off of my tiers right now. And I'm looking at the wide receivers. I mean, Keelan Cole's not a terrible option, right? I mean, he plays the outside. He's not a terrible option. They paid him $5 million. But I'm going to go with Amir Smith-Marset if nobody else takes him. He might have already been taken. So Amir Smith-Marset or Scotty Miller is probably my option here with a couple picks left. And we'll go with Amir Smith-Marset. But yeah, if you want to use the rankings that I'm using, the tiers, the top 200, the player profiles, the key stats, consistency charts, all that stuff, you want to see all that stuff that I have, the Supreme Draft Guide released yesterday. You can get it for free thanks to Prize Pick. It's linked down below. Dolan RC is watching this video. All right, Dolan RC, expose yourself in the chat right now because 3 times I said I'm going to take this player and nobody else would have taken them, and he's taken all 3 of them. Like at that exact pick. Amir Smith-Marset takes. So Dolan RC, expose yourself in the chat right now, you sneaky bastard. I know you're out there. Josh Palmer's still on the board, and let's see if somebody takes him now. 3rd round pick by the Chargers. Sneaky 3rd round pick. People forget he was a 3rd round pick. Oh, but Mike Williams, he's getting all the hype right now out there. He's had a 10 touchdown season and a 1,000-yard season. Imagine if he puts them together. Sure, Yes, this is my 18th round pick, though. So I'll take a Keelan Cole or a Josh Palmer here. I like them over KJ Hamler since, Cortland Sutton's coming back. Judy's already out there. Other than that, though, I'm not seeing anything. I'm really not. Like Tutu Atwell, no thank you. Cornell Powell, no thank you. Too much hype. Too much hype on that guy. Devin Duvernay, not a terrible pick down here as your 18th pick. I'll be honest with you. Showed some flashes last year. Kiki Kute, Randall Cobb, the guys that nobody wants on Houston, right? They'd rather take fucking Nico Collins. These are not terrible picks. And Kiki Kute is by no means a terrible pick. Going to play. Younger player than Randall Cobb, of course. Anthony Schwartz. Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be a Josh Palmer for me. At least he has the draft capital. I don't hate Kiki Kute, though, who I think will line up on the outside and in the slot a decent amount. Slowly shifting into the NFL season. Yeah, not even slowly at this point. The NFL season starts on August 5th. That is the first preseason game, the Hall of Fame game. We are literally, we're going to be a month away on Monday from the first NFL game. I'm going to go Josh Palmer. We'll take the rookie with some upside attached to a good quarterback, a good offense. And there's our 18th round, our 18 rounds. There goes all my text messages, too. Uh-oh. Don't expose me. Alrighty. So let's look at the team here. Oh, and the team just fucking left. So let's look at the team. My most recent draft is this one right here. There you go. Squad. Quarterbacks. When Deshaun Jackson, we already answered that one. What's up, Sal? What's going on, boss man? I see you with the DK and Carson wide receiver running back stack, too. Yeah, I mean, I tried to get Russell Wilson earlier. But I'm sure no one probably took him, motherfucker. Let's just see if any other questions. Just curious where Julio got picked. Yeah, it's the draft's over. I could go. I don't even know. I can go back in on my phone. I'm not too sure, though. I thought Sal liked Robinson before the season started last year. Yes, sir. I was a bit surprised. I thought Sal liked... Yeah, I liked Robinson a lot before the season started last year. I got him in the 15th round of my home league, 14th round, and I was going to use him as a fucking keeper until they drafted Travis Etienne. He got away from free agency. Fine. Only Carlos Hyde came in. That's great for him. We answered that one. Take Johnson, then get John Brown. All right. So that's some stuff. Let's see these final questions coming in. Somebody says, LOL, Sal. Not ready for winter, but ready for football. We'd love to hear that. You got to move to Texas. I'm in Texas now, so winter here is like 80 degrees. What is Will Fuller's status? A wide receiver on the outside that is going to miss week 1 of the season because, he did some drugs. That was me. I'm sorry. I had no clue who to draft this late. This is my first best ball. So there he is. He exposed himself. You're in the... You're all good. Ryan Dolan. My man was like, oh, he said he's going to take Amir Smith-Marset. Fuck that guy. I'm going to take him. Fuck this Italiano on the screen. I'm going to take him. You're all good, Ryan. You're all good. But I'm coming for you. I will find you. Alrighty. Any final questions? Let's get them in. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this after an hour of live streaming. Big fun. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Peace out, gang. There's a vlog that went up this morning. We'll have an NBA video tomorrow morning for Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Nothing on Sunday. And on Monday, we'll only have something if the series goes to Game 7. Otherwise, there'll be an NFL video. Peace out, gang. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's best ball season. It's redraft season. We're a month away from... We're 2 months away from the actual season, and we're a month away from some preseason. Peace out, gang.